As I said, we're going to get to your calls here in just a moment. And next hour, I'm going to be playing some of the blacked-out impeachment hearings that went on Friday that your controlled media, predominantly owned by foreign defense contractors. Oh, yeah, most of them are foreign now, moving offshore. Blackwater, Halliburton, it doesn't matter. Large, small, there. Bye-bye, America. Hello, Dubai. But they'll sure flap an American flag in your face while they come after your guns with their lobbyists, while they come after our liberties and freedoms to make us their little whores, and they, of course, the New World Order's pimps. I got to say something about this. Aliens are out there, says former NASA astronaut. That is the London Telegraph, similar headline, Associated Press. I don't believe a word that comes out of NASA. They have been caught lying so much. Their astronauts have been caught in so much deception. To have Dr. Mitchell, who has 2 bachelor's degrees in science, a doctorate in aeronautics from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, on and on and on, the 6th man to walk on the moon. He says the government has a secret program with aliens and that they're basically in underground bases and everything we've always been told. They've got treaties with them, and there's little green men everywhere, and the government's keeping the secret from you. And the problem is NASA lies so much, their astronauts have been caught lying so much and caught trying to murder each other and caught in mind control programs that I don't know what to believe here. You see, people have been calling me and freaking out all week over this, saying, well, what do you think? Say something about it. And all I can say is, you got the wrong show. Now, I have a few guests on who bring stuff up like that because it's so mainstream now. Understand, you got Larry King Live talking about it. You got Fox News talking about it. You've got MSNBC talking about it. You got CNBC discussing aliens every week. You got the Pope saying they're real and that they're about to land. You've got all these other leaders saying it. You've got the U.S. government starting to say it. You've got NASA releasing videos of flying saucers flying around the space shuttle and then saying, what do you think this is, public? You've got them having press conferences about Roswell with 2 Army and Air Force colonels, and an Army and an Air Force colonel up there, acting guilty and turning red-faced and blushing on purpose. They want us to think aliens are real. They want us to think they're about to land, and I've seen declassified government documents where they've planned fake alien landings and giant 300-yard tall projections of alien spacecraft, or they said Muhammad, Buddha, or Jesus. That came out over a decade ago. So the problem is when the government lies so much and has been caught lying so much that I just don't know what to think. We're going to try to interview Mr. Mitchell. Probably be really hard to get him on now that this is such big news. But we will shoot for that. Okay, enough said. I'm going to your calls now for the rest of the hour on the impeachment situation. And I've got some Iran news. More banks have been shut down by the Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation. That is federal, by the way, unlike the Federal Reserve, which is private. And we've got some other news here as well. But, I only cover what I can prove here. And people have enough trouble dealing with that, much less little green men. All I'm saying is things are getting crazy in the world, and they're going to get a lot crazier. This is definitely an interesting time to be alive. Who's been holding the longest here? Let's talk to Eric in Philly. You're on the air. Okay, we'll try to go to Eric again. Eric, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, man, how's it going, bud?
Good, go ahead.
When I watched the hearings on Friday, I noticed that there was UN logos and Admiralty flags.
Well, what you saw on the back of the curtain is a fascist symbol. The Senate and the House in their committee rooms are adorned with fasci. That's a image of bundles of sticks with a hatchet on the top. That's the Roman imperial symbol of fascism that was in the Reichstag under the Nazis and then incorporated here in the U.S. You also saw what is a wreath from the top, or a victory wreath, also a symbol of fascist imperial Rome. So when you would see a Caesar come in for a triumphant arch, or winning a large battle, or the person who would be the top gladiator of the year, it's the famous leaves that they would wear on top of their head, a crown. So, yes, it is a fascist symbol, not a the UN also uses that.
Does that symbolize an empire? Yes,
that's what it symbolizes. In fact, they're re-airing. No, that's another committee, but it's similar. In fact, I'm looking at C-SPAN right now on the screen in here, and it's another office, another committee room with the same fasci, same fascist wreath. Yes.
A few other things. Cindy Sheehan, are you going to have her on the show soon?
That's a good idea. That's how we remember to have all these people back on. You remind us. People said, why haven't you had Willie Nelson on in a while? So I called him up, had Willie on, and the idea got launched for a big concert, which I happen to have the answer on whether we'll be doing or not. And I will not be announcing it this time, but it will be fun. And we will get Cindy Sheehan back on. So let's get Cindy Sheehan. Let's get this astronaut on. And I want to get Lindsey Williams on about the oil situation. So.
Right. In MySpace, she's been very active on MySpace, sending out messages about how she wants to go against Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, she's going to run against Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, she seems like she's really woken up.
Yeah, no, she believes 9/11's an inside job now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one little suggestion about the Willie Nelson event. They should do a tour instead of just one show, like a truth tour.
I understand, but listen, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say, let's have a truth tour. The problem is there isn't time for that. Willie's already committed out with, I mean, he's one of the hardest working guys, period, in showbiz, in music, not just a global icon, but imagine being Willie Nelson and being booked out a year in advance. So it was hard, spur of the moment, just to find a time. And we're still, well, I'm not going to announce yet what Willie decided to do yesterday. He told me to call him at 1. I did call him. He was in Alabama at the time, on the road, there in the tour bus, and it has been nailed down. But I'm not going to tell you what's been nailed down. I'm not going to tell you we are having it. Not going to tell you we're going to have an anti-war 9/11 truth event. I'm not going to tell you that that's a definite. You probably tell, but I'm not going to say. I want it to be completely nailed down first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to take another call here. Let's go ahead. And I want to go to this impeachment talk, the next person, Scott in San Diego. But let's go to Steve in Austin first, because he's got a question about, can we trust Google? He's going to say, you're giving Google out. Well, how do we trust Google? It's like people that say, how do we trust the Internet? Well, the Internet just takes you to different sources. You have to decide whether you trust the New York Times or the Library of Congress or a prisonplanet.com story from us. That's up to you. Let's go ahead and go to Steve in Austin. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, you just have mentioned on other programs that Google is owned and run by the CIA, I believe. So I would think that would be a dubious source. But my main point...
Well, you're asking a question. You want me to answer it?
Well, my main point is you can Google anything. I can Google Loch Ness Monster and find websites that prove the Loch Ness Monster exists, and that's not proof at all. That's just somebody on the Internet posting their...
Well, take me back just a minute, because what specifically was I saying Google 30 minutes ago?
You were telling us to Google all the stuff about, the CIA, not the CIA, the impeachment hearings, and, look for information.
Well, I mean, then you can just go watch the video clips. All I said was I have the video clips on Infowars.com, and then, but you didn't have to go to Infowars.com. I said you could go and just Google and watch the hearings. But you know what? This is an important issue, so I'm going to put you on hold. There won't even be newspapers soon except online, very soon. And I'm sure whenever we're using info, you'll say, don't look at it, don't talk about it. We'll be right back. Our beloved Republic is on.